Imagine if you and I were to sit down for a game of chess, me versus you. Now, as your opponent, my job will be to put you in a position known as checkmate. But I'm not going to try to do that in one move. I'm going to try to create an elaborate and smart game plan in which you cannot see coming. So with everything that's happening right now, it begs the question, well, is the Great Reset occurring before our very eyes? Is this something that's going to happen in the year 2021? Hey guys, Daniel here, one half of the Kwok Brothers, and in this video we're going to be talking about how the Great Reset may actually be happening before our very eyes right now. Now guys, I know I usually ask for you guys to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and Sam and I are greatly appreciative of your support, but I believe that this video needs to be watched as many people as possible because we need to know what's happening to our own freedoms, our security, our families, etc., etc. So guys, please like this video and share it. It really helps the algorithm and get it out to as many people as we possibly can. Now let me first start this video by quoting Winston Churchill when he said to never waste a good crisis. Now I believe that this is the mindset of our leaders who are looking to execute the Great Reset, in which we will own nothing and we will be happy. So in this video, I will outline 3 things that's happening right now in our horizon that I believe will set up the Great Reset. But before we go ahead and do that, let me emphasize one important point. And that point being that the Great Reset is no longer a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theory is something based on speculation and unverified facts and research. However, when the World Economic Forum has their global meeting last month, and their main agenda is the Great Reset under the Davos Agenda, well, I think it's pretty safe to say that this is no longer a conspiracy, but this is actually something that they're looking to execute. So let's talk about the 3 things happening right now that could potentially set up the Great Reset. And well, ironically, the game of chess also has 3 parts of it as well. There's the first phase known as the opening, where pieces are developed and positioned in the middle of the board. There's the second phase of the game known as the middle game, where, well, the weaknesses of your opponent are first identified, and then you formulate a game plan of your own. And last but not least, of course, we have the end game, where you slowly close in on your opponent, taking them apart piece by piece, eventually putting them in a position of checkmate. So let's start with the first of the 3 points, aka the opening of our little chess game, by talking about, over the last 5 years, our increased reliance on the government. There's a lot we can talk about here, whether it's housing benefits, additional social programs, artificial forms of boosting and inflating markets. But let's focus on the main driver here, which is the $5.4 trillion worth of stimulus that's already been given out or is on schedule to be given out. Now, in order for everyone to participate in this little game known as the Great Reset, we as the people must rely on the government on everything. After all, the motto is, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Which of course brings the question, well, if we don't own it, then who will? And regardless, the main thesis for the opening phase of our chess game here is the eventuality of universal basic income. Because if we really break it down, universal basic income is the most sustainable way for the people to rely on global government and government in general. Because, well, what is the alternative? It can't be to lower taxes now, would it? It wouldn't make sense. Why would we just cut the taxes of the people we take money from, in which we're going to give back to anyways because of universal? It wouldn't make sense, right? It wouldn't make sense at all. And we wouldn't want to do that. We want to create a situation where all the money and power goes to the government and not us, the people who actually work for everything and create everything. We wouldn't want to do that, right? We want to be good little boys and girls who follow everything that we're told to do blindly and not question a single thing. And wouldn't you know it, the cherry on top being that the World Economic Forum is one of the largest advocates of universal basic income, not just for the United States, but for the entire world. Now, let's pause here for a minute and go back to the analogy of chess. Imagine if you and I, in the middle of the game, I started removing your most valuable chess pieces one by one. It wouldn't be fair now, would it? I bring this up to add another valuable aspect of what the opening phase could be looking like in terms of what the World Economic Forum is planning and pushing. And that, my friends, that valuable aspect is the decision to change the US minimum wage to $15 an hour. Now, at this point, you might be saying, well, Daniel, what does the minimum wage have anything to do with the Great Reset? Well, I'm glad you asked, and it has a lot to do with it, and here's why. Countless studies and research has been done, and well, even if you have basic understanding of economics, you'll be able to understand this, that the biggest group that will be hurt by the increase of minimum wage to $15 will actually be the small business owners. The Walmarts, the Amazons, they want the minimum wage to be $15 an hour because they can handle it, the small boys can't. And well, they're bringing all the competition and traffic to their own big mega stores. And well, what better way to handicap the people financially and have them rely solely on the government by taking out their ability to create their own stream of income? Now, as far as the larger private companies goes, well, what a coincidence that under the Davos Agenda, again, another term for the Great Reset based on the meeting that the World Economic Forum had last month, states that an integral part of bringing global cooperation is for certain private companies and corporations to be brought into public control. Now, when it comes to chess, this brings us to the mid-game, the middle game, where the weaknesses of the opponent is being defined. And the biggest weakness of us, the people, is one thing and one thing only, and that, my friends, is debt. Now, remember, one of the most tempting aspects for individuals to participate in the Great Reset is that all their debt will be eliminated. And even just saying those words out loud, I can't help but think how familiar this all sounds. Oh, that's right. The person in the White House has the agenda of wanting to eliminate all student debt. Now, guys, I'm not saying that's not a good thing, right? There's a lot of people that have been weighed down. They can't buy homes. They can't live the life they want to do because they've been hunkered by student debt. Now, on the other hand of the spectrum, I wish that a lot of people would take responsibility and understand that, look, it was you that signed on the dotted line. It was you that put your signature on those loans in the first place with the expectancy to pay those loans off. Now, I get it. It has hunkered a lot of people down financially, but let's talk about this in the context of the Great Reset. Anybody with any economic experience will tell you that debt just doesn't get eliminated. There's no magical fairy or government official that can just snap their fingers like Thanos and remove all of your debt. That just simply cannot happen. It either has to be exchanged or it has to be transferred. It has to be one of those two things. And my biggest concern is that currently it looks like the Federal Reserve will be the one to purchase student debt. And well, historically speaking, whoever owns the debt owns the control and they also own the power. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's quite a bit of a head scratcher for me, because how is it that a private entity, which by the way, the Federal Reserve is not a government entity, it's actually a private entity with its own private shareholders and its own private agenda, how is it that that private entity that has the ability to print any amounts of money that we can ever possibly imagine is the entity to purchase student loan debt? I mean, they're already, at the time of this recording, by the way, over $7 trillion worth in their balance sheet. How is it that they're the ones buying the student loan debt? So again, going back to our chess analogy, that's like playing an opponent who has the ability to create any valuable piece as they so choose at any point in the game. I mean, imagine playing an opponent where they have 10 queens at one point in the game attacking you. And well, in our reality, in what's happening right now, that is the case. There are infinite amount of queens, bishops, rooks, knights attacking our very weaknesses, eventually bringing us to the endgame, which I believe, aka formulating a one world currency, therefore creating one global control. Now, in order for this to happen, the dollar must crash, considering how much power the dollar has in terms of the global economy as the world's reserve currency. Now, this may be the part where I get the most hate, but again, I reiterate that these are my thoughts, and well, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comment section below. But I believe that the rise of cryptocurrency will eventually lead to one single global currency. And I bring this up because, well, based on my research, cryptocurrency was indeed one of the main topics for the Davos Agenda for the World Economic Forum's meeting last month. Now, having said that, I believe what's happening right now with cryptocurrency is absolutely beautiful, because a lot of private retail investors like you and I, and guys, maybe I'm not like you, where I'm not the smartest guy when it comes to Bitcoin. I'm definitely not a Bitcoin expert. But the reason why a lot of individuals like myself, you, and a lot of other private retail investors are jumping into cryptocurrency is the same reason why we will not support and we don't like what's happening with the Great Reset, which is we don't like or trust the system. And well, why should we? It's not helping the people at all that it's claiming to help. It's helping, if anything, a lot of the global leaders. It's helping a lot of the global elites. There hasn't been a lot of help towards the people as it should, as the system should be helping. But my fear is that cryptocurrency will begin to be regulated, centralized, taxed, and controlled by the very forces that we're running away from right now. And well, when I look at what the World Economic Forum has posted so far on cryptocurrency, it seems that my fear may be more imminent than I like it to be. Now, maybe at the end of the day, this is all just mere speculation, that none of this is true, but I would make the argument that whether or not it is speculation, it is important for me and you and everybody else to know at least what's going on, because, well, what happens to that chess player that has no idea what their opponent is trying to do? They lose, right? They become victim. So in this case, you would lose. And what you lose, well, you fill in the blank. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching this. And again, please like and share this video for the reasons I just mentioned of everybody needing to know what's going on. And subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're at it. I'll see you guys in the next one.